Hello again, and welcome to the operational video of our MRX, which can cover the MXP as well, which we can show at a later stage. However, the MXP has got another technology which I'll touch again during the course of this video. So what we will do today is we are going to talk about the preloaded recipes, one-touch cooking, and how that gets done via a micro door switch activation or manual when you're pressing the start button. How to add new recipes, how to change or remove existing recipes, and then understanding the technology behind the microwave, the convection oven, and the impingement, and how these work in combination to ensure that you get faster cooking and also more efficient cooking. As always, you can refer to the user manual, which is a great help to you. Alternatively, guys, I'm also always on the other side of a line. Pick up the phone, whether it's an email or a phone call. Give me a buzz. If you struggle to get around a recipe, I can advise you accordingly and give you the culinary assistance there that you require. There's an ACP app which we can download onto our desktops, and this will give you a nice platform to go work through the recipes and then upload it to a USB stick, which you then bring to your unit and upload it over here. Go to your programming, which I'll show in a second. So if you want to upload the USB via that way, load file, insert your USB, and it will then take the recipes which you just created onto that platform. The ACP app on the desktop is very straightforward, but I'll do a separate video for that, just to bring you up to speed with them right at the start. However, for this tutorial, we're going to do everything on the screen, localized on the unit, which is extremely efficient, and it's a great way to create your own recipes for your particular business. So on our screen, you can now see I have different tiles. These can either be in an image form or it can be an icon with a different color background, which is great for people suffering with vision or vision impairment. And again, with your title underneath, your actual name of the recipe or the dish that you want to cook. And then from here, when your unit is preheated and all these appear, you can just do one-touch cooking. So the idea is that you grab your peel, put your product on top of the peel. If it's a toasty, you can cook into the baskets or the smaller baskets. Open the door, slide your product in, close the door, and touch whatever you want to cook. And the process will then start automatically. You can pause, have a look, close the door, and continue to cook. That's really how fast and easy it is to use this particular oven. So when I stop the recipe cooking, your main screen will then come back with all your different recipes. And again, you can store up to 1,000 different recipes into this device. However, instead of having many rows and lines of recipes, you can cluster them together either in a folder, or you can also do tables on the top or tabs. When you open up a tab, I'll use it. Then you can see everything in this particular folder is right there, and the tabs will do exactly the same. And then again, just one-touch cooking. Press what you need to cook, place your product in, the door shuts, micro switch engages the oven, and it starts the countdown process, also the counting, the progress bar, also the counting down process. When the product is finished cooked, a loud buzzer will go off with a green line around it to tell you your product is now ready to be extracted from the oven. Your peel, door open, take your product out, and then close the door. At this stage, it's very important to always remember to shut the door as quickly as you can so that the oven chamber retains the heat as optimally as possible. We can now go to how to write a recipe, how to change a recipe. This particular unit is password protected, and this can be enabled via the settings, which I'll do at a later programming stage. The password protection is great in order for you to block the unit off for anybody that wants to tamper with recipes or change recipes without authorization. It's excellent for chains of restaurants or businesses that want to keep everything standard, which is great. So only the manager or the supervisor will then have access to go to your menu. In the menu, there's various functions. We can change the temperature. We can do a manual recipe, edit a recipe, move a recipe, create manual folders, can manage our tabs, Great. Loading the file and user options as well, where you can change your times and so forth. We are going to concentrate this morning on how to write a recipe. All the other functionalities on that is in the user manual. And again, for reference, you can also contact me. I'm on the other side of the line to help you. So let's go and edit a recipe just to get your head around how that process actually works. So I want to change, for instance, now the panini. So my recipe of the panini comes up here. And as you can see, I've got an indication of the temperature of the unit. I've got 3 columns over here with 3 options. The top one is for convection, which is on time. The second one is for microwave, which is in percentage. And the third one is for impingement, which is also in percentage. Combining those 3 technologies together will enable you to cook the products fast, efficient, and really, really as nice as you want it to go. For instance, a toasty can take anything from 40 seconds to 1 minute and 30, depending on your fillings. For the panini, for argument's sake, my panini was perhaps too dark on the outside, and I want to not create much toasting. I then already know now that I need to decrease my impingement down the bottom here. Impingement is the function that gives you crispness, browning of the product. Microwave, we know, will give you the heat, so it will heat up the product nicely and also accelerate the heating up process. And then with your fan convection onto the time at the back, it will act as an oven, which is all held together with your microwave and impingement to get that perfect product to you fast as possible. So now what I'm doing is I want to change my impingement. I'm going to drag it down from 90 to 50. I'm quite happy with that. I can even take my time down. I think my time was too much, so I'm going to do 15 on convection. So that's now 45 seconds for that recipe. All the other settings that I found on my panini was right. It was hot in the middle. It was just too brown on the outside, and I think the time was a little bit too much. Now I can save this recipe, or I can cook it and try it out. Or if I'm not happy with this recipe at all, I can delete it. If you want to start the process again, scroll back. I'm happy with these settings. I'm not going to cook now. I actually want to save it. Go forward. It's giving me an option. The current settings are a brown background with my panini. I want to change it and make sure that I know that I've changed it. So I go on a lilac background, keep it on the panini, and then I can save it. Or you can go to photo images and then select from the database an image that is suitable for your panini. As you can see, there are many. Just need to find one that looks more or less like my panini. I'm happy with that. Go forward. And now I can save it, and I'll call it Panini 2 that I know, or Panini Revised, to know I've adapted the recipe. And that's really how fast it is. So now it goes back to your main screen, and your Panini refreshed or revised over here. And from there, I can start cooking straight away. To start a recipe from scratch, we are going to go to the program again. I want to do a manual recipe. And now I can start writing my recipe. Remember, you can change your temperature and select what temperature you want, up to 270 degrees. But bearing in mind, with these devices, it's important to cook in one parameter. You don't want the unit to cool down and heat up in the middle of service. That takes time to do that. It's an accelerated oven. You want to get the food out fast, so keep it in a parameter and keep your recipes all at that setting. So I stay at 270 because I want to cook the items really, really fast. I'm happy with that. Now, what do I want to cook today? So I want to try a new toasty out. I want to do a sourdough toasty filled with chicken mayo and some nice rocket pesto. So I'm going to create it now. So I'm going to go for my convection time first. I know my panini takes roughly between 45 seconds and 55 seconds. So my sourdough toasty should take slightly more. So let's do that for probably 1 minute and 20 seconds. I'm happy with that. I'll go into the microwave. I'll give it 50% in the start for this phase and no impingement at all. Or should I? I want a bit of color, but not much, because I want my product to be nice and warm first. So I'll give it 40% impingement. Then I go to stage 2, and this is the one I'm going to finish everything off, get a nice blast, nice and crispy, nice and brown, and that's what I want. So I'm going to go in for 15 seconds. Microwave will then drop down to 30, but impingement I'm going to go with 80. And I'm happy with those settings. So now I'm going to save it. I'm not going to cook straight away. I actually want to save it. You can test it by cooking it. Saving it. Select toasty. And use bread for today. Gray background. And now I'll word it. So always remember it says enter name. Just scroll back. Clear your menu screen and go. So chicken sourdough toasty, I'm happy with that. And then from there, it goes to your main screen. Now you can drop and drag it to where you want to place it. There you go. And you are now ready to cook. Place your product in, close your door, and then within 1.5 minutes, we have now a recipe. We can start cooking straight away. To move a recipe. So we actually want to move the items around so it suits you. It goes back to your screen. It says touch and hold to drag the recipes. So I want to have my folder over here. I want to have higher up. So I'll highlight it. Or I can bring that one down. And that will bring it back up. I want to do my tuna toasty. Drag it down because I want my oven fries right at the top. And now my demo folder is right in the middle, ready for use. And that's really how easy it is. Save it by pressing the accept icon, and you're ready to cook again.